Hi, everyone. I'm Angela Bixby at Energy Intuit. Thank you for being here on my YouTube channel today. I wanted to pop in today and talk to you a bit about the importance of self-trust right now, this time on the planet. I'm going to do a little bit of a free-flowing talk to everyone about all the things going on without naming a lot of the things going on. So we're all experiencing a lot on planet Earth right now. Today is Thursday, April 23rd, 2026. I'm Angela Bixby. I'm a psychic medium, consciousness mentor, intuitive channel. I've been doing this work since 2010. I opened my practice in 2011, and it's a real honor to be here for 15 years, supporting humans in the ways that I do. So we'll jump right in. I received channeled messages from my guides all day, every day, and talk to them formally and informally. And so, my guides have been on me to try to jump on here and do some quick videos of support for humans that are here. So this video, first and foremost, is here to support you. If you're at a point where you're like, gosh, dang it, these energies, like what's going on, right? In case you're as kind of frustrated, fed up, or maybe not feeling a lot like yourself for whatever reasons, send you seeking out content that will support you and help you feel better. So I'm not an astrologer. I'm a hobby astrologer. And so I will say this with with a lack of specificity, since I'm not a professional astrologer. We are in some really, really intense astrology this month, and particularly this week and next week. There are 7 or 8 planets in Aries, which is a fire sign. And so the energy is easily leaving people feeling less grounded, first and foremost. One of the most important things for us to do as humans living at this time on the planet is to be grounded in our physical bodies. Our bodies are our best divining rods. And the best way that I've found to grow and engender self-trust in any situation, reading the news, making a decision about where to turn each day in different situations, is relying on our intuition. And our self-trust is best cultivated through developing our psychic skills. I've had that direct feedback from clinical psychologists that have come through my programs and talked about how the way that I teach psychic development, the fact that we can develop psychically and do develop psychically with safe, ethical mentors and safe groups, that is really, it's the best way forward for adults. And I know this, adult learning theory teaches us that repetition is the mother of all learning. Quantum physics teaches us that we get more of what we focus upon. So I know this about psychic development, and the more that we practice and grow our intuition and our psychic skills, through that process, what we're doing is we're growing our self-trust. We're teaching ourselves that we can listen to our bodies as a divining rod, our own senses, our own dreams, our own instincts, and that they are really a tried and true set of tools that we all have access to. Okay, so part of what's going on at this time on the planet is that so much is coming out. So much is coming out. It's a bit like if you were to turn a fire hose on a house that had a bunch of mice and you saw them all run out of the house, similar to if you're working on skin that has lots of stuff in it and someone's working on the skin and lots of things, blackheads and things are being brought to the surface, a boil, etc. Sorry, those are really gross examples, but they're what spirit's bringing through. So what we're seeing right now is this huge, massive fleshing out of all of the dark and the bugs and the ickiness and the vermin, right? So much is coming up and out every day. It's hard to abide because it's so much. It's like double, triple fire hoses, and no one's meant to be able to take it all in. Not going into any of the details, I will remind you that unfortunately, this is the part of how we change, especially as a species, human beings. Um, 8 billion of us approximately on the planet, it's going to take time. And so we're going to see things change. We're going to see, trash cans tipped over in a manner of speaking, and all of the trash out on the sidewalk for everyone to view before we're going to get to a point where we've figured out a new way to deal with the trash and collect the trash and store the trash so that that doesn't happen again, right? That's a weird metaphor for a lot of what's going on, and it's a pretty apt metaphor for what's going on too in so many ways. So we're at this point, this inflection point where we're seeing all the ick. We're seeing behind the great and powerful Oz's curtain. That is not meant to correlate to one human being. It could correlate to a number of human beings, right? All of them. But it's more speaking to that concept where we feel as though we're finally seeing the inner workings of how some things work, of how systems of power. over others work, how systems of government work in different countries, how systems of leadership work in different countries, and ultimately that all of those systems of leadership and government seem to the suggestion and the knowing that we all have in our bones is that there are another higher level of people that are probably pulling those puppet strings, right? So we're seeing really all the icky parts of the theater of the things that are going on. It does not mean that everybody in these positions of military leadership, government are bad. Okay. I am not an all or nothing person. I think it's unhealthy if we think in absolutes. So this isn't just black and white. There does happen to be a lot of dark that's being fleshed out. So you're not imagining it, of course, and you are sane. It's just, it's maddening and it's nuts, really, how much is coming out now. So some of the really fun ways to focus and play are to focus on your psychic skills and to perhaps find ways to study or practice with friends or a group, and perhaps ask the questions about what's going on different dimensions, perhaps ask the questions that are most burning on your mind through your process. I've got a class coming up. Well, I've got an automatic writing class coming up June 3rd that you can register for on my site. I'll drop a link below. I do all of my classes, almost all of my classes on Zoom. So people from all over the world and all over the country can join. And then I have a 5-week class called Numinous Humans, which is a mystery school type psychic development program that's running September into through October 5th, 5 Monday nights in a row in the fall. So check those out. There will be some more workshops that'll be going up soon on my website, energyintuit.com, on my workshops, my events and workshops page. But nonetheless, so another thing that's really important for us to cope and deal is to spend time in nature right now with all that's coming out at us on the world stage and across media and all of that, which, we all know that spin is everywhere and half truths are everywhere and lies are everywhere, unfortunately. And this is why I say that relying on your self-trust has never been more important, and it's only going to become more important. Okay. So it's really important for humans right now to have strong support systems, have people that you can talk to when you feel like things are crazy making or hard to make sense of. So, support system, whether literal family, chosen family, friends, colleagues, everything in between. Lean on your people, connect with your people. That helps us stay grounded and spend time in nature. The more that we spend time in nature, the more that we naturally ground and come back into our bodies. And we also commune with all of the different nature deities and elementals and spirits. And there's nothing I like more than like hugging a tree or leaning against a tree for a few minutes when things in the world are going really wacky. I find that it can be very grounding and very helpful. So remember that you are, additionally, I will say, um, okay, I'll put a period there. Next, one of the big themes of what's going on right now, and I mentioned this earlier, picture that we perhaps, this is a simplified view, simplified perspective. Picture that we had a cap on our crown chakras. Picture that we had a cap on our skills. Picture that the caps have been slowly cracking, breaking, falling away for many people for many years. We are all under that right now, whether you're aware of it, conscious of it or not. I get asked this question by my students all the time. Well, what about all the other people in the 3D that are less aware? How are they responding to these energies? Well, they probably think that they're just ungodly tired or think, gosh, I'm not sure why I'm so tired, or I'm not sure why I have so much energy today, but I guess this is what I'm working with today. If people are not really aware of what's going on, they might not really be aware of how these energies are hitting them and that these energies could be contributing to helping them to slow down, go within, engender more self-trust, listen to their intuition, right? And so people are going to be at varying degrees of consciousness. We're going to receive the energies in measure to our consciousness. So we'll receive them and understand them to the degree of where we've evolved to individually in our consciousness. And so a big part of that are literally our psychic skills because we all have the capacity to divine. We have a pineal gland, a pituitary gland, a physical body. And I've always said, since I've done this work for 15 years, our body's our best divining rod. And all three of those, by virtue of having all three of those, all three of us are psychic. It's a matter of figuring out how your skills come through and then growing them, working with that, focusing on that until you can understand and sort of get yourself to a more advanced level with your psychic skills. Go from more than just yes or no questions. Go from more than just maybe spontaneous channelings where you don't feel like you're engaging with the energy that you're channeling, right? And so it's about where you are, meeting your skills where you are, growing them so that you can expand them to have more dialogue with the unseen realms at safe and higher levels. I say go for the fifth dimension or above. Do not hang out in the fourth dimension and try to learn in the fourth dimension. I call it the dirty dimension. There's a lot of duality and ego there, and that's not a great place to learn your psychic skills. So go for the fifth dimension and above and connect, because that is literally a huge part of what's going on now, as well as all of the other factors that come along with understanding and seeing those sort of skull caps that are breaking and crumbling and falling away, not just on individuals, but on systems, on ways of doing things, all kinds of aspects of humanity. The it's a lot for all of us to be taking in, really the level of deception that we've all dealt with in our lives at all different levels for all different reasons, coming out of these power over structures and power over paradigms. And, there's a lot that goes along with that. There's a lot to process, there's a lot to take in, there's a lot to understand, and it often calls people to perhaps have to really examine, their belief systems and the ways that they were raised and all of the things that they were taught to believe, i.e., about being productive all the time, which is just part of a capitalistic system, which isn't necessarily how humans are meant to be living on the planet, right? And so there's a lot that comes along with this time period that we're in. And I know that this, whatever this has been, 10-15 minute chat is only going to kind of help to soothe people so much, but that is my intention, is to be here to be of support to humans that are evolving at this really tedious and trying time on the planet. All right, that's where I'm going to end this today. I hope this supports you and gives you a little bit of peace. And I am working on getting on more frequently to have more frequent messages of support to go out to you guys. I do not like to do a lot of future prophecy stuff. I get into future all the time. I can read the future with one-on-one clients. When we're talking about the whole world or a whole government or a whole country or a big situation, there are so many individual energies and individual expressions of free will and systemic expressions of free will that can come into play, that I am not the reader that wants to do big prophetic psychic predictions. It's not where my work is meant to be. It's not where spirit has called me to be. And so you won't see that as much, but you will see soothing, empowering messages here, because I believe in the depth of empowerment that we all have available to us through this time. It's going to mean different things for different people. Some people, it might mean leaning less on their psychic skills and more on starting their own business, growing their own food, right? There can be so many different ways that this can express in the way that we're going to manage moving forward. But know that I'm here to support you in spirit connections and psychic development and anything else about this channel or my content that might support you at this trying time. I wish you all groundedness, and I wish you all peaceful beings, and get outside and enjoy the sunshine if you're able to, where you live on the planet. I'll be back soon. Thank you. Bye.